Hello everyone, hi, welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo.
Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon.
Today we have a topic with us is called Sundry Expenses. Now what is Sundry Expenses? We have a dialog box here where there is a couple of details that is written. We'll try and interpret them first and then we'll move to the explanation part. They are the regular business expense, that is line item that is found on the income statement of all the organization. Fine, let's understand what are the sundry expenses. What are this? See, sundry expenses are those expenses that is done in the regular course of the business, but they are random in nature, and it comprises of small number of, it is really very small number of expenses compared to the overall expenses of the business, relatively unimportant and insignificant. So such expenses are relatively very small, undoubtedly, and very infrequent. As such, they are not assigned to individual ledger account, but are collectively classified as a group known as the sundry expenses. So in a day-to-day running of business, in order to record such expenses without increasing separate ledger accounts and administrative workload of the accounting department, an organization, such expenses are grouped, you can say they are grouped or clubbed together under the group head under sundry expenses, and sundry expense may also be referred as miscellaneous expenditure. So the word sundry is basically the item which is completely irrelevant and unimportant to be mentioned individually. So these expenses are unusual and random in nature, don't include any business expenses, which is of a regular nature, of capital expenditure nature. So this expense may be related to a particular area business, and in such cases are clubbed as the sundry office expenses, okay, or sundry manufacturing expenses. Now I'll take few examples to illustrate this topic. Well, let's take the sundry expenses example to understand this concept in detail. Let's say there's a company called BL International, okay, and they are into the business of shoe manufacturing. Okay, the company incurs various expenses like raw material, rent, advertisement cost, which are regular expenses in its day-to-day operations. In one of the recently shipped order of 1,000 customized shoes for its client XYZ International was found at a time of delivery. Okay, that an individual logo is not passed on to 200 customized shoes. So the company spent around $50 in purchasing the individual logo and pasted the same on the 200 customized shoes. So this $50 expense is a sundry expense example. It is neither a regular nature and also it is a very small amount. So BL International classified the same under the sundry expenses. It's very important to note here that the sundry expenses, they vary from industry to industry, and there is no particular item which can be categorized particularly under the head sundry expense. The basic rule to be kept in mind while classifying expenses as sundry expense are, it should be random in nature or infrequent. It should be unusual, must be small in amount, and must not be regular nature. Okay, so now we will try and discuss regular, that is the sundry, versus the general expenditures. See, the key differences between the sundry expenses and GE, that is general expenses. Okay, the meaning, see, it refers to any business expense which is of random. See, it is a business expenditure which is random in nature. A small amount, it cannot be classified under any regular business expense, and this is basically business expense of regular nature, okay, and an amount that is larger than the sundry expenses. The regularity, if you see, these are quite irregular in nature and they are regular in nature. Now the amount that is involved, it comprises of very small amount. And over here, usually the amount of the general expense is a very good quantum, An example like salary, advertisement cost, raw material cost, and so on and so forth. Now, how these sundry expenses are recorded in the fin statement, the financial statement? Well, see, sundry expense is shown under the head of income statement. Since it is an expense, it is shown on the debit side of the income statement. The expenses are like rent, salaries, you have sundry expenses, and then to net profit. On the income side, it includes gross profit, income from commission. Yeah, so this is it. Now, how do we record the journal entry part? Let me take you down to the journal entry for this. Okay, fine. Let's start. It goes with sundry expenses account that is debited 10,000 to cash or bank balance that is 10,000. Okay, then this sundry expenditures gets transferred to P&L. So over here to sundry expenses. So that comes down to 10,000 here and 10,000 here. So let me give my final thoughts on this particular topic. See, sundry expenses are regular. They are regular business expense line item that is found in the income statement of all organization. They are basically on the income statement, quite clear, of all the organization. And sundry expenditures, basically they are used to club together all irregular business expense head. So these expenses are very small in denomination and they're definitely not regular. Now, classifying an expense as sundry expense is not a stand criteria, as what constitutes a sundry expense in one organization or industry may not be a sundry expense in another. So thus, whenever an expense is classified under sundry expenses, one should follow the rule of thumb that states that expenses should be random or infrequent. It should be, again, unusual, must be small in amount, and must be having a regular nature. So unlike the general business expenses, which are categorized under the regular heads such as like salary, wages, these expenses are recorded within an account called the sundry expenses. So the purpose behind using this account, sundry expense account, is to save the time and energy of accounting department in identifying exact nature of this expenses and allocating them to other more precisely defined accounts. So, however, it is pertinent to note that once any of the expenses which are classified under the sundry expenses become regular in nature and started occurring more infrequently, they should be moved out to the head of sundry expenses and instead report separately under their own name that identifies the nature of the expense.
So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.